All right. So this brings us to the one-click presentation, and I see that Nick has joined us. And so he's getting pulled up right now. So Nick, welcome to the party. We're glad you're here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking time out to do this.
So
So I'd like to introduce you to the Spina Bifida Association and some of our constituents. Unfortunately, you can't see them, but they're out there. I will be fielding questions, and so when you're finished with your presentation, then we'll do a short Q&A, and I'll read off the questions, and between the two of us, we'll try to answer them.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Right.
Yeah, so as has been referenced today throughout a few people's conversations, OneClick is the tool that the Spina Bifida Association is using to put you in contact with your legislators online. So whether that's emailing, tweeting, calling, or sending videos, we can make that very easy and straightforward for you to use. So the first thing I'm going to do here, let's see. It actually seems it's not letting me control the presentation here. I'm going to do this. All right, yes. All right, so the key features of OneClick Politics are emailing, tweeting, patch-through calling, and video. Our email tool actually has 3 methods of contact. First and foremost, we try to send an email to a legislator. Unfortunately, a lot of legislators, especially at the federal level, do not have email addresses for constituent contacts. So, if you wanted to send a direct email to them, normally they'll have a contact form online that's, they prefer contacts to come in through. So first and foremost, we'll try to send an email if that exists. We'll then send your communication through a web form if an email address does not exist. We'll send your communication through their official contact form. If that fails for any reason or doesn't exist, we'll back it up with a fax. So we have a 99.6% delivery rate, and basically we just ensure that your contact gets to that legislator's office in any way possible. We also allow you to submit tweets to legislators. So you can fill in a tweet that will likely have some pre-filled information for you to enter, and you can tweet at your legislator. And the good part about that is that you can add some public pressure to that legislator rather than just a direct contact. Their staff that manages their Twitter account will see that, or if they personally manage it, they'll get notified, of that tweet that you sent to them. But it also then puts public pressure on them because other people know that you're contacting them. We also have the patch-through calling. This allows you to very easily call your legislators. So rather than having to look up the phone numbers of all of these legislators and call them all individually, our service actually allows you to be immediately patched in to each office, all in one phone call. And I'll walk you through how that works in just a moment here. Finally, we have the video feature where you can submit videos to legislators that will be emailed to them as separate files. So here now I'm going to hop in and share my screen with you folks. So here we have the latest Teal on the Hill action that Spina Bifida has created for you folks. Here we have on the right side is the web form tool. So the first step of any of these forms is just to fill out your information. You always need to enter your name, your email address, your address, city, and zip. The address, city, and zip are used to determine who you should be contacting based on that address that you enter. So you always want to use your home address here so that you're contacting your own legislators. If it's a phone action, it'll also require your phone number so that that patch-through call can work. And here they're also asking for your age. When you click next, that information is stored, and then it gives you the list of folks that you're going to be contacting here. So in this case, we're contacting all of these senators. It gives you the ability to edit the email, subject, and body that you're going to be sending here. My suggestion is always to edit the subject a bit, maybe say, from so-and-so, include your name, things like that. Just because, as Nora mentioned earlier, they get inundated with emails all the time, constantly, and to really make yours stand out, you want to differentiate it. Additionally, a lot of the larger legislative offices, especially in the Senate, have some software that easily identify form campaigns. So if you don't edit this email in any way, they're just going to really tally those up and send a form response out rather than giving each one their own individual attention there. So my suggestion is always to add a little bit of extra information, ideally, maybe some info about your story, who you are, why this is important to you. Once you've edited the email, you can connect your Twitter account here. So if you connect your Twitter, all it's going to ask you is to confirm that you will give that permission, and then you'll be able to enter your tweet. So here, Spina Bifida Association has pre-filled this information for you. You can make some edits to this, make some changes if you feel the need to. Then once you click submit, it's going to immediately send that email, and it's going to immediately send that tweet to each of your legislators individually. It seems here that I've already made a phone call, so it's not allowing me to here. But you would be able to click a start call button, at which time you would receive a phone call to that number that you entered into the form. So whether that's a mobile phone or a landline or a Google Voice number or whatever it may be, you'll receive a call at that number. When you answer, you'll hear a short greeting from Spina Bifida Association, and then you'll be immediately connected with the first office in the list. When you're speaking to that office, you can read off of this call script here. You also have this click here to expand option. So if I click here to expand, it's going to give me that full call script that I can read from here. So you're going to want to read what they provide here for you. Here we have an insert something personal. This is where you insert, an anecdote or a short, brief piece of your story, depending on how you feel, or feel free to go into detail as well. And then once you've finished your phone calls, we're going to want to record a video. So to do that, we're just going to click the record video option. Here it's always going to show you these 4 key points here. We always recommend keeping your video 30 seconds or less, and that's just because you have a short amount of time to really be impactful with that staffer that's going to be receiving this. Most of the time it will be staff members that are going to be receiving these videos. Quite often, the legislator is not the one that's manning their inboxes from constituent mail. You always want to introduce yourself. You always want to be respectful, so try to keep away from using curse words and things like that. That will get a much less positive response than being calm and collected and respectful. We always recommend recording in a quiet location as well, so that the audio of the video comes in clearly. Here, you'll see a short blurb from Spina Bifida Association, providing you some more context and what they're asking for you on this video. I'm going to click record video. It might ask for permissions here. Here you would click record, record your 30-second video. You're able to watch that back, re-record it, all of that good stuff. And then once you've recorded a video, you'll click submit video. You have a checkbox here for approval if you want to allow Spina Bifida Association to use this video. Maybe they want to put together a, sorry about that. Maybe they want to put together a testimonials video or things like that. If you'd like to allow them to use your story, use your video, you'll want to keep this box checked. If you'd prefer that stay between you and your legislator, you're just going to want to uncheck this box and then submit your video. And then once that's submitted, all you need to do is share your video. So you can share it to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or you can share it via email and get your friends and family to take action on this campaign as well. All right, great. Actually, I'll just share my screen here again and just continue through the presentation. So a few 3 key points here on being effective. So the best way to be effective with contacting your legislator is to share your story. Make it as personal as possible. always include, your own information. They're going to care a lot more about what they are hearing from you, from their, their constituent, and your own personal story than they are about data that they're already receiving from lobbyists and larger organizations and things like that. It's always going to be very important to share your own personal story. Second, you always want to complete multiple points of contact. That's always my recommendation. Emailing, is good. It's not a bad thing to do, but they do receive hundreds to thousands of emails every day, and really they have a lot of staffers, staffing those inboxes and just working through those to send out responses. So they're not always the most impactful way of contacting a legislator. So you always want to follow that up with either a tweet or a video or a phone call, whatever contact makes sense for you and you feel comfortable with. For the most effective actions between these, in our experience, we have a lot of customers on a lot of issues, and what we found is that the most effective actions in creating changes, having a phone call. If you're able to call your legislator and speak to their staff members and give them your own personal story, that's going to be much more impactful than something like a tweet or an email that's just words on a screen. If they have a real human speaking to them and giving them a story, that's going to be much more effective in getting that communicated up the chain to the legislator and getting that information to them. Second would be tweets in our experience, and we believe that this is because of the sort of public pressure aspect. If they are receiving lots of tweets on their Twitter account and they're being sort of called out on an issue or asked to support an issue or whatever it may be, they're going to be much more likely to put some weight behind that. Because not only will the people supporting this issue be seeing that, but also people that don't support that issue. That's a really good way to get more information to people that might not be aware of spina bifida, that might not be caught up on the latest information. It's really good to always provide that option and pursue that. Third most effective we found is videos. Again, that just brings into the whole, putting a face to the name, putting a real person behind that story. If they can see your face, they can hear your story with their ears. That just has a lot more emotional impact than words on the screen. And finally, emails. Though I'm saying, these other actions are more effective, email is effective in its own right. It's just not quite as impactful for the people that are working with the legislator. So, don't shy away from doing emails if that's what you're comfortable with. It does have an impact. So don't ever feel as if, it's a waste of time. It certainly is not. But you'll be better served following up that email with those other actions. And that about covers the use of one-click politics. Does anyone have any questions for me here, or any questions on best ways to contact your legislator, any of that information?
So there was a question about if one-click is an effective platform, or if we should make their own video and send via email. I will say that for us, using one-click is preferable because we can then actually keep track of how many videos, how many phone calls, how many emails were sent. If you do it on your own, it's much harder for us to know how many have been actions have been taken on our behalf at all. So I preferably would be to go through one-click, but if you're uncomfortable doing that, you are welcome to do it on your own, but you'll have to do a lot more legwork to do it on your own, to be honest. So
it is unfortunate that at times they make it as difficult as possible to contact them. So tools like ours do help you get in contact with those legislators directly.
There is a question about do we download this or find out if there's a cost? First of all, there's no cost. SBA has made a contract with OneClick, so there's no cost to participants, and you simply sign up. You create a username and password, and that's how you get in and utilize the platform. And what do you consider to be the most effective way to get in contact with our legislators? Well, I think Nick answered that question. Phone calls is the best method that we know of. And videos and tweeting, of course, also fall into there, as do emails. So, you know, the fact of the matter is, if you do all of those and really lambaste the office, then the office starts paying attention, because if you get, you know, 5, 10, 20 people all doing that, they're like, oh, something's going on. We need to pay attention to this. So being active through social media that OneClick allows you to do is really important, because, you know, that is something that they really pay attention to these days, is what's going on with Twitter, what's going on Facebook, and what's going on Instagram if they have an Instagram account. So I think the fact of the matter is, you know, the more you do, the better you are. And going through OneClick, what we did, literally, its name is why we were so interested in it, is basically with OneClick, you're able to do what you need to do. And so the fact of the matter is, it gives you all the information that you need in one place, so that you can go in and very easily to do this. So I think that answers that question. Otherwise, you have to do a whole lot of legwork to find out who your legislators are and how to get in touch with them and all of that stuff. It's all already programmed in OneClick. You don't have to do that. All right. As there are no other questions, I think we will go ahead and move on. Thank you, Nick, very much for your time today. We appreciate you joining us from your home to be a part of our virtual Teal on the Hill. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have a lot of people utilizing the platform, getting our message out. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.